Welcome to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA presented by Google. Tonight in Minneapolis, Minnesota, a matchup between the Chicago Sky and the Minnesota Lynx. Two teams starting to get hot, two teams led by former MVPs. Candace Parker, two times, has been the most valuable player in this league. She's back and playing well for the Sky. And Sylvia Fowles, a 2017 MVP, who has been leading the charge for the Lynx. As we welcome you inside our homes. Hey everybody, Ryan Rucco, along with the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. So happy to be with you this Tuesday night for the WNBA on ESPN. Rebecca, these two teams, big expectations heading into the season. Minnesota got off to a slow start, but they're playing much better of late, and Sylvia Fowles, a big reason why.
Yeah, the 14-year veteran has been stellar in the early part of this season, just as dominant as she has ever been. Just under 17 points and 9 rebounds a game, leads the WNBA in field goal percentage. When she gets inside, she is going to finish, and she has been terrific on the defensive end as well, leading the WNBA in steals per game.
You see the incredible efficiency from Sylvia Fowles. For more on Candace Parker in Chicago, let's check in Minneapolis with Holly Rowe.
Well, did you say MVP? Because we've got so many here in the game. The other one for the Chicago Sky is Candace Parker. She's new in her tenure with this team, just 3 games under her belt after an early ankle injury has kept her out of much of the season. But she's been back the last 2 games. Her first game back was a limited production, but they got the win and her presence was felt. And her last game, guys, she went off. This is the Candace Parker that we've seen for years. 20 points, 14 rebounds, but more than that, as a facilitator, little things from a shot fake to a cut to a defensive possession, she makes winning plays. And the players I spoke with today say she brings a winning attitude to this team. Her presence on the floor changes their identity, and they are hoping they can keep that winning streak going tonight against the Minnesota Lynx.
The starting lineups for tonight's action. The visiting Chicago Sky will start Courtney Vandersloot, Kalia Copper, Candace Parker, Diamond DeShields, and Stephanie Dolson. For the home Minnesota Lynx, Lasia Clarendon, Kayla McBride, Sylvia Fowles, Nafisa Collier, and Bridget Carlton. Dolson and Fowles will jump it up, and Minnesota wins the tip. Minnesota started this season losing their first 4 games. They've won 4 of 5 since. Collier missed the first 3 games of this season. They're 4-2 since she's come back. Here's Fowles motoring in and flipping it home. Sylvia Fowles with the first bucket of the game.
6'6", and a wonderful combination of strength and footwork and finesse inside.
Dolson tees it up and knocks it down from the corner. Chicago has gotten off to a great start this season defensively. First in the league in defensive rating. They are 10th in offensive efficiency as Collier couldn't finish. Trying to get back to it, but Dolson able to pedal it away. But Rebecca, this is a Chicago team with a ton of offensive talent as Parker sheds Carlton and lays it in. You'd have to expect now that they're healthy, those offensive numbers will improve dramatically.
Yeah, without question. And they have got new pieces on the team this year. As you see, Collier hit the 3. Chicago has new pieces. It's going to take time for them to gel. And even at this point in the season, they've just had so many players miss time with injury. That chemistry is going to take a minute.
Good sign for Minnesota to have Collier hit a 3. She shot it so well last season. Hasn't been the case this year as Parker hits the step back. Candace Parker, the 2-time MVP, the 2016 Finals MVP, as Collier slips that in. Parker won her Finals MVP against the Minnesota Lynx. Here is Parker. Has the switch on Clarendon, finds Dolson, who connects from downtown.
That's where Candace Parker is so good. It's finding open teammates. Sylvia Fowles had to come down and help because of the mismatch inside and able to find Dolson.
McBride was able to squeeze it over. Collier, not that time. Collier, as well as Parker, off to strong starts in this game. Dolson with 6, Parker with 4, Collier with 5. That one won't go for Parker, and Foul soars in for the rebound. Foul straight on jumper, rims off. Parker the board. All the way in, Copper off the window for 2.
That's been a really nice combination so far this season in the minutes that they've been able to play together. Candace Parker facilitating, finds Copper whenever she is open in transition.
Clarendon lost it, got it back. Nice find, fouls to Collier, and Collier's going to shoot 2.
Candace Parker gets the basketball. Kalia Copper runs the floor, and she is smooth and quick and athletic, slices through the lane, finishes so well. They had an instant chemistry, Ryan, early in the season when Candace Parker played a couple of games before she got hurt. She was finding Copper regularly in transition.
You know, we talked with James Wade before the start of the season about his team, and we said, you know, you've been knocking on the door of being a title contender. And he said, well, we've been knocking on the screen door. Now we're knocking on the real door that we have Candace Parker. Said her presence, the confidence she brings, the way she puts her teammates at ease, it gives us a credibility and a legitimacy to feel like we are actually now contenders. The Shields at 3 is good.
And what did James Wade tell us tonight? He said having her out there just gives us a calm and confidence.
Collier travel. Was looking for the whistle against Parker and then dipped into a travel. And it is Chicago basketball.
15 points in 4 minutes.
I think Cheryl Reeves upset about their defensive effort so far.
Here's Vandersloot, has led the league in assists each of the last 4 seasons. Parker dishes over to Shields, again from 3. An 18-9 start for Chicago, and Minnesota needs a timeout. Sky certainly have found their offensive rhythm early in this one.
We celebrate WNBA Pride Month. We cannot wait to share you the beautiful story of Layshia Clarendon, as Layshia has gone through quite a journey trying to find her gender affirmation as a non-binary player in the WNBA. Layshia was very open about going through top surgery before this season, trying to become comfortable in that body that they are so impassioned about using as an athletic forum. And Layshia has been a huge part of this team. Layshia is really coming in as a starter. Cheryl Reeve giving this opportunity today, and it is such a beautiful story. Cannot wait to share that with you as we celebrate Pride Month in the WNBA and all of these spectacular people that we get to cover.
Yeah, Holly, we are so looking forward to that story. And look, Layshia has been an incredibly important player for these Minnesota Lynx. And we talked with Cheryl Reeve about they, and she said, I didn't realize there was such a massive void prior to her joining in terms of not having leadership. But once she came, the leadership she's provided, said, look, Layshia's a talker. We needed that. And it made me realize just how big of a hole that was for our team. They're 4-1 since Layshia has joined.
Well, she's been incredible for them, and talking and communicating is so important on a team, especially when you get that from your lead guard or your point guard, and she brings that every day. And she also brings a big, strong physical presence from the point guard position, which is such a contrast to Crystal Dangerfield, who is small for a point guard.
Fouls on the follow, puts it in. Sylvia Fowles having another terrific season, one of the all-time greats in this league's history. DeShields looking spry early.
Chicago's offense has been terrific, and they've been efficient, and they've done a great job understanding mismatches and moving the ball around, getting open looks from the perimeter.
Dantas too strong on a three. Minnesota has been absolutely besieged by injuries early in this season. Chicago dealt with them as well. Minnesota still without Renaya Davis, without Jessica Shepard, and now will be without Natalie Achanwa and Ariel Powers for several weeks. Powers had just come back, then hurt her thumb, which requires surgery. Down the floor, DeShields beats the D for the leg.
You heard Cheryl Reeve frustrated a little bit earlier in this quarter, and one of the reasons is that Chicago has been able to beat Minnesota down the floor multiple times for good looks.
Cheryl Reeve, best winning percentage in this league's history. Winningest coach we've seen in playoff history in this league. And said this is the first time she can remember coming out of training camp feeling like her group wasn't ready to hit the ground running. As that jumper goes for Quigley plus the foul.
Making shots is contagious. Once one or two players see the ball go through the hole, it's a lot easier for everybody else. I mean, Allie Quigley doesn't need it. She's one of the best shooters in the history of the league. But right now, Chicago, 79% from the field.
We said that offense was probably going to find its rhythm, right?
They're in rhythm tonight, Ryan.
12-point lead for the Sky. Dangerfield, the reigning Rookie of the Year, in there with Banham and Dantas off the bench for Minnesota. As Fowles hooks it in. So difficult to stop on the block.
Candace Parker one-on-one, good spacing around Fowles, and with her right-handed hook, that's easy for her.
Parker, a deep three is good. Candace Parker with 7 first-quarter points. And Chicago shooting 80%. Vandersloot comes up with a steal, running the break and laying it in.
Chicago is taking advantage of every mistake that Minnesota's making, not just on a turnover like we just saw, but when the defensive help stayed a little too long on the on-ball screen, they pass it back out to Candace Parker for the open look. Consistently, there have been open looks for Chicago because of Minnesota's errors defensively.
10-2 Chicago run. There's another error, and Vandersloot just blew the bunny. She was given the basket as Minnesota's defense broke down again.
Was she pizza pieing it, Rod?
She wasn't quite. She may here. No need. Another steal, another layup, a 12-2 Chicago run. And 5 turnovers in the quarter for Minnesota. It resulted in 10 Chicago points and another Lynx timeout.
Chicago done a great job turning their defense into offense. Here, a couple for Sloop.
Sportsnet Thursday, Minnesota at Dallas, Vegas hosts the Liberty. And then on Friday on CBS Sportsnet, it'll be Phoenix at LA. And on CBS, Saturday afternoon, Chicago hosts Connecticut. That should be a great game. For more on these games, please go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app. Well, the Chicago Sky on a 12-2 run have shot 78% in this opening quarter. And Rebecca, they've turned 5 Minnesota turnovers into 10 points.
Chicago has been getting it after it on the defensive end of the floor. They've been taking what's there in terms of transition, and then when they get into their half-court sets, they've understood every time there's a mismatch or an overhelp, they've been able to exploit it, getting good looks and draining them.
Here is Dangerfield. Been playing better of late for Minnesota, the reigning Rookie of the Year. Collier hits the jumper. Nafisa Collier going off in this first quarter. 13 points now. Now in her 3rd year an MVP candidate before the season, as Dangerfield comes up with a steal and lays it in. First turnover of the game for Chicago. And that is an area where the Sky have struggled. They've turned it over more than any team in the WNBA this season. Dolson will try another three, way short. Rebound saved by Stevens. Quigley's push shot is good. Inside of a minute to go in this first quarter. Ryan Rucco, Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe with you. Baseline jumper, rims off for Burdick. And here comes Chicago. Sierra Burdick signed today with the Lynx down to just 8 players. She became their 9th who is available to go tonight.
Cheryl Reeve was telling us yesterday we're going to sign a player as a replacement player, somebody who won't have practice with us, who won't know any of the plays, who will be dizzy when she gets out there. But here she is in the first quarter getting some run.
It's going to be a foul against DeShields, her second. Now, this is a Minnesota team, went to the semifinals last year, lost to the eventual champion. High expectations going into this year for both these teams really as Fowles finishes on the interior. 8 points now for Sylvia Fowles. 4 of 5 from the floor. Straight on three is good. Dana Evans, the rookie, acquired by Chicago in season. And Chicago has its highest scoring quarter of the season. They put up 39, Rebecca. A 39-point opening quarter for the Sky.
Diamond DeShields stepping into her three. There have been multiple scores for Chicago. Quigley, Parker, everybody getting in on the action in the first quarter.
Welcome back to the WNBA presented by Google. Here with Chicago Sky Diamond DeShields. And Diamond, you are on fire right now. We've been talking about the flow needing to start and gaining some chemistry with everybody back. How great is your flow right now?
It's pretty good, Holly. Offensively, we're getting the shots we want, and we're hitting the shots that we're getting. So, you know, we just got to, that's just 1 to 4 quarters, and we got to play the full 40-minute game.
Not only that, but you guys are playing some excellent defense, creating turnovers and then scoring off those turnovers. How has defense been something you can count on so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, that's just something that we've always gone to, you know, in wins and losses. And so to be consistent in that area and to have it show up the way that it is right now, it's just more affirmation for us to keep going and to keep grinding it out.
All right. Thank you so much, Diamond.
Thanks, Holly. Appreciate you.
Well, Collier able to shed DeShields there. And Rebecca, you know, talking about the defense of Chicago, James Wade knows and said to us before the game, hey, you know, defense wins championships. That's a change for this Sky team this season, playing D at the level they have thus far, and probably a needed one if they're going to have a deep playoff run.
Yeah, they've been much better on the defensive end of the floor, and they've been really impressive so far on the offensive end with their balance to me, Ryan. They've got 7 players who have scored so far in this game. Minnesota is really being led by Collier and Fowles, but the balance for Chicago as they move the ball and find open players, they can continue to do that with the level at which they're playing defense. This is kind of what people expected at the beginning of the season when, you know, the expectation was that Chicago would be in the hunt for one of the top records in the league.
That is the 3rd foul on Diamond DeShields, so DeShields with 3. Parker into the game as DeShields checks out. Dana Evans will check out as well. We'll reset the lineups for you. Dolson, Quigley, Parker, Vandersloot, as well as Copper into the game for Chicago. Collier, Fowles, Dantas, Dangerfield, and Banham on the floor for Minnesota. Off the steal. Fowles is the league leader. The runner blocked out of bounds by Vandersloot. Here's Collier, already with 17 points in the half. Collier gets fouled and is going to shoot 2. She has really been using her size well.
Nafisa Collier is such a tough matchup, and just in the last play with Copper on her, she's able to back her down, and she can step out and face and shoot from the perimeter. I mean, Cheryl Reeve was talking to us earlier today about Collier being one of the top 10 players in the WNBA, and I don't know how many people expected that when she got drafted out of UConn.
Well, guys, Nafisa Collier was a little late joining this team because she was still playing overseas, got to the Final Four with her French team, and they struggled without her, and then it took her some time. Cheryl Reeve said in her podcast recently, took about 2 games for Fee to get the speed of her footwork, get her confidence back, and now this is the Fee that has MVP type of candidacy all over her, and you can see what a big impact she's made and how comfortable she is now after a long absence.
No doubt, Ali, and off to a tremendous start tonight. 19 points. Minnesota has cut what was a 17-point deficit down to 10. Fouls fighting on the glass. Had it snatched away by Copper, who's fouled by Collier. And that will be the first personal on Nafisa Collier. You know, Rebecca, we talk about the Lynx dynasty and just the great core players they had, you know, for Cheryl Reeve in the championship years with Maya Moore and Lindsay Whalen and Rebecca Brunson and Simone Augustus and Sylvia Fowles. And Collier feels like the kind of player who fits that mold. Incredibly competitive, can do it on both ends of the floor. And obviously there's a lot still to be accomplished to get into that pantheon of legends, but she just feels like a Lynx type player.
Yeah, without question, and an unselfish player as well. You know, somebody who will pass up the good pass, the good shot for the great shot, and also comes in with a championship pedigree, winning at Connecticut.
10-point game, 5 to shoot here. Parker, the sidestep gets rejected by Dantas. Here comes Dangerfield, speeding up the floor. Dangerfield, the lob inside. Fouls. Got the whistle, and Sylvia Fowles is going to shoot 2.
Double team came, and it looked to me like Sylvia Fowles traveled, but I'm guessing it was because it's the way she was bumped. But Hebert trying to work a great pass. That looks like a travel to me.
Yeah, I agree. We were talking with Cheryl Reeve about Sylvia Fowles, and she pointed out that for some reason, Fowles does not, in her opinion, get the attention she deserves for still being an incredibly dominant force in this league. And she also said, look, she wants to win. And when we got off to an 0-4 start, she was the one who really put the spark in us.
And I think sometimes what can get overlooked with Sylvia Fowles too is her prowess defensively. You know, you notice her block shots, but you might not notice her steals. You might not notice the fact that it's really hard to make a post-entry pass when she's the one defending the post player.
Vandersloot gives it up. Quigley will back it out. Copper, catch, fire, no. Rebound, Fowles. Here's Dantas on a 3. She got it. And it's down to single digits as Damaris Dantas connects on her first field goal of the game. And a timeout taken by Chicago.
Minnesota cutting into the lead. Damaris Dantas doing her part.
15 points in 4 minutes. 15 points in 4 minutes. 18 points in 4 minutes. 18 points in 4 minutes. We have not guarded them yet. We started off the game with a strong side help. We don't strong side help and give up the 3. Then they drive. We don't bring the low eye and they score. Okay, we're like 6
Right, do you think in this past huddle she was saying 0 points in 3 minutes? That's what Chicago's had here to start the second quarter.
7-point game after Chicago had a 17-point lead. Copper throws it out of bounds, and another chance here for Minnesota to cut a little closer.
And so the difference between Chicago getting that lead and then giving up that lead has been turnovers and missed shots. And they have a little bit less space to take those shots because better Minnesota defense.
Dangerfield lobs it in, fouls, try to hook it underneath, could not. Here comes Chicago, a 4-on-3 developing. And another turnover from the Sky. Protected the ball early, or is this going to be called a deflection? And I believe the officials are going to confer. I don't know if it hit Carlton or not.
I don't think it hit Carlton. I think Candace may have been arguing that Dangerfield perhaps tipped it.
Maybe. Well, the argument worked because Chicago's keeping the basketball. Each of these teams turns it over frequently. And a nice play off the inbound, and a layup is good for Copper. Here's Carlton able to beat the traffic and lay it home. Copper down the other end for two. A track meet.
That's the definition of one, those last 3 possessions.
Dantes, step back jumper. No. Dolson fighting with fouls. She couldn't finish. Here comes Chicago. Vandersloot straight on 3. Rims off and fouls, her 6th rebound of the half. Clarendon throws it away. Here comes Vandersloot with Dolson to the left, lays it in. Turnovers, a massive story in this first half. 8 for Minnesota. It's led to 12 Chicago points. And a defensive 3 seconds called here against Chicago.
I don't know that any of the players minded that defensive 3 seconds though, Ryan, because as you said, it was a track meet up and down. Catch your breath. Thanks for that defensive 3 seconds, and then we can get going again.
What about the broadcasters? How did the broadcasters feel about it?
We don't need the break.
By the way, I know we say this every game, but how wonderful are the jerseys this year?
Phenomenal.
Love the Lynx white they're rocking and Chicago's black with the pinstripe. Here's Collier fading away and hitting Nafisa Collier with 21 first half points.
It is hard to hit as a right-hander. Fade away going over your left shoulder.
The Shields can't hit from 3. Clarendon lobs it inside, fouls, no. Comes Vandersloot, already 6 assists in the half. Copper was trying to get her another, could not. DeShields slip, look out. Might have a wet spot under there. Minnesota trying to spring free. McBride able to lean her way into a whistle and is going to shoot 2.
Nafisa Collier getting the ball on the left block and has a longer, taller Candace Parker on her. It's easier as a righty to fade over the right shoulder than it is to go over the left. That is a tough, tough finish.
Game 6 between the Nets and the Bucks Thursday night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central on ESPN and the ESPN app, with the series tied at 2. SportsCenter with Stephen A. starts our coverage at 7 Eastern, followed by the Countdown crew, who will take you right up to game time.
How your Nets doing tonight, Ryan?
Not so good thus far, Rebecca. Not that I'm aware at all. Here's Vandersloot. Flicking it out. Dolson. Copper squeezed. Finds Parker too strong. McBride a three. No. And the strong side rebound flag down by Vandersloot. Vandersloot with 4 steals in this half. Chicago a 6-point lead. Minnesota has whittled 11 points off the deficit. DeShields gets rejected by fouls. The 3-time Defensive Player of the Year springing the break for Carlton.
Carlton has brought really nice energy here so far in the second quarter.
An 18-6 run for Minnesota.
See the block by Sylvia Fowles. Now, if you watch Nafisa Collier run the floor, she forces Candace Parker to make a decision of who she's going to guard, and that leads the open lane for Bridget Carlton to score an easy 2.
And then Parker turned it over on the inbound, so Minnesota gets it right back. McBride, great decision, and Clarendon lays it in. It's a 2-point game. Quigley trying to steady things and gets the call as McBride whistled for the personal. 2:53 to go in the second quarter. Minnesota on the move. Presented by Google. For today's search, we want to know who was the leading scorer in that inaugural WNBA game.
You should have gone easy with who scored the first basket. Because Penny Toller.
Right. We wanted to go a little harder than that.
I do not know the answer to this question.
Okay. Do you want to venture a guess?
I'll go with me or Lisa Leslie.
Okay. All right. You'll get the answer soon, Rebecca.
Okay.
Holly, do you have a guess?
I think it's hilarious that Rebecca Lobo is acting like she doesn't know this answer. She played in the game. She knows if she scored more than Lisa Leslie. Come on, Rebecca.
I do know we won.
Team player there. Not thinking about her statistics, just the result. Collier on the follow. How about Collier? She has 23 points in this first half.
She now has more than the rest of her team combined.
Catch, fire, and hit from 3. Vandersloot on a nice delivery from Diamond DeShields.
Even when Chicago has gone cold in this quarter, they've still done a nice job moving the ball side to side. They've had a lot of touches. They've gotten good shots, just that haven't been able to get them to convert.
Outstanding effort there from Carlton. All right, Rebecca, here we go with the answer. Oh!
See?
A trick
I was
question.
right.
You couldn't have been more right.
I honestly didn't know.
Lisa.
Ooh, my free throws. If I had made my free throws, Ryan, I could have been. I scored.
Wait, what happened? 3 for 8 from the line that day?
I don't know. That's bad. It was the nerves. It was the first game of the league.
Rebounding.
I guess so.
That's all I'll say.
They got to you.
Rebecca, I'm really proud that you played in the first WNBA game. You're such a legacy Hall of Famer. We're very proud of you, but I'm so upset about your rebounding in that first game. My goodness, let's do better.
What did the rebounds even say? I missed that part of it.
6.
She crushed you on the boards. She crushed you.
We won.
Meanwhile, in 1997, here's what the rest of our crew is doing. Oh, yeah. My 11th birthday, getting the Kobe jersey, all smiles. And
It's
Holly
Fred Savage right there on the left side of the screen.
I was prime Wonder Years right then. And Holly, are you calling a Utah Stars game there?
Yes, I am. I'm actually covering a WNBA game in that year. I'm very excited about that. And I'm mortified that you're so much younger than we are.
We all act the same age. That's the important part, huh? Holly Rowe has been with this league since its inception, as has Rebecca Lobo with her 16-point performance. 7-point Chicago lead. Ooh, Carlton goes down and stepped out of bounds. Minnesota turns it over. Cheryl Reeve has had that look a lot this first half. 9 turnovers now for her team. Minnesota turns it over 16 times a game. That's 10th in the league as Quigley hits the shot. Chicago turns it over 17.5 times per game. That's 12th, meaning last in the WNBA. It's knocked out of bounds by Quigley. He's going to stay with Minnesota.
Saw Allie Quigley on the other end score, and she comes off of screens as well as any player in the WNBA, and they set a lot for her because once she catches, she's so quick setting her feet and releasing the ball.
Collier has it stripped. Quigley, the down court feed, beautifully done, and Stevens, a gazelle, laying it in.
It's one of the reasons James Wade calls her the unicorn, 6'6", long, and can run the floor like that.
An 11-2 run, another Minnesota turnover, another Chicago run out.
As hard as Minnesota has worked to score on the offensive end of the floor, then they give up a couple easy ones.
11 first half turnovers now for the Lynx. Make it 12, which has led to 20 Chicago points.
Minnesota's last game was against LA. They had 22 turnovers in that game. Still able to come away with the win. But turnovers certainly a problem for the Lynx this season.
Both of these teams have played better of late as well. Chicago has won 2 straight following a 7-game losing streak. Minnesota started 0-4, has won 4 of their last 5. But more unwelcome injury news with Natalie Achanwa going down with an MCL sprain and Ariel Powers a thumb injury. Oh, nice find. Vandersloot, beautiful dish to her wife, but Quigley could not finish. What a seal from Fowles. Had buried Stevens basically out of bounds.
Completely buried her under the rim, and even though 2 help side defenders came, once she caught it, that was going to be going down.
Fouls, 10 points, 8 rebounds. She's 15th on the WNBA's all-time scoring list. Quigley short, deflected ball. Parker gets it off, and that'll do it for the first half. Chicago a 58-49 lead at the half. Coming up on the State Farm Halftime Report with LaChina Robinson and Andrea Carter. A historic night for Sue Bird and an all-new WNBA All-Star approach. That's all coming up on the State Farm Halftime. Nafisa Collier having a monster opening half for Minnesota with 23 points. But Chicago getting out and running, 20 points off turnovers in that half. Welcome back to the WNBA on ESPN. The Chicago Sky, a 58-49 lead over Minnesota as we get ready to start the third quarter at Target Center. We welcome you inside our homes once again. Hey, everybody, Ryan Rucco along with the Hall of Famer, Rebecca Lobo. Rebecca, just a lot of Minnesota turnovers in that first half, which led to a lot of Chicago fast breaks.
Yeah, that was really the story of the first half. Chicago able to get out and run, and they're so dangerous when they're in transition already, but especially when they can turn their defense into offense. 20 points off those turnovers. Anytime they collect the ball, they are looking ahead, looking to push, and they were terrific doing that in the first quarter and then late in the second as well. It's the reason they have this lead.
20 points off 12 Minnesota turnovers, 12 fast break points. It's time to check out tonight's insights from SAP. How about Nafisa Collier in that first half? 23 points on 8 of 14 shooting. The rest of the Lynx with 26 on 10 of 24 shooting.
Nafisa Collier, she's just phenomenal. And Ryan, she's last year so efficient, and this year her efficiency numbers down a little bit, but not in this game. She's getting great position and then making very difficult shots.
Vandersloot had 7 assists, 7 points, 4 steals in that first half. DeShields can't hit a 3. Parker off her fingertips. DeShields had 10 points in the opening half. Parker had 7 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. Good contributions all around from Chicago, including Allie Quigley, who had 11 off the bench. Nice setup. Dolson knocks down the 3.
Dolson really effective in the first half as well. When she got space on the three-point shot, able to knock it in.
McBride got bumped, couldn't finish the 3, knocked out of bounds by Collier. Let's take a listen to James Wade, wired for sound.
We don't want to give up open threes. That's why we're not helping. And that's why we had a 20-point lead, okay? All right? And we're playing slow, and we're taking bad shots. All right? Bad shots. Move the ball. Every time we drive, they're loading. Move it. Move it once and move it again. Every time they come back in the game, they come back from the threes. We've seen 200 hours of film to know that. Force them to shoot contested twos.
That's the angry dad voice right there. I think all of us have heard that before. And yeah, when Minnesota comes back from deficits with their ability to make from long range, and James Wade reinforcing that with his team in the first half.
Dolson flips it in on a nice pocket pass from Vandersloot. 9th assist for Vandersloot. Dolson now with 15 points. 200 hours of film just feels like a lot. That's an extraordinary amount of film. As Collier finishes, let's check in with Holly.
Well, Stephanie Dolson is having a fantastic game tonight as a big presence for the Chicago Sky. She's had the wildest couple of weeks. She flew to France with the USA 3x3 team to try to qualify for the Tokyo Olympics. They went from France, they went to Vienna, they drove to Graz, they stayed there for a week and competed. Then she came back to Chicago, then Minnesota, then Phoenix. She's been all over the world, all over the country, but she's playing well. She said she's dropped almost 25 pounds. She's trying to eat healthy on the road, and she needs that because she has been on the road a lot. I'm just really impressed with what Stephanie Dolson's showing in this game.
Yeah, she came in terrific shape this year, and we saw it manifest at some point in the second quarter. Out in transition, she beat every other big player down the floor. And there's nothing you can do about that. When Sylvia Fowles gets deep position, the right-handed hook from a 6'6" player, release point so high.
12 points now for Fowles.
Right there, she just can hold off the defender. She gets the seal. Patient. Sylvia Fowles so patient when she gets the ball on the block. No double team comes. She's like, all right, I'll right-hand hook you.
Fowles, 15th all-time in points. Parker, 14th all-time in points. The former MVPs squaring off in this contest tonight. Vandersloot, nice look. DeShields got off to a strong start. Copper, another weapon for Chicago, gets fouled by Fowles. And Kalia Copper is going to shoot too.
Because Chicago can put so much pressure on you from both wings, because Diamond DeShields and Kalia Copper, both terrific players, off the bounce, getting to the rim.
Copper misses the free throw.
What are you thinking about that squiggly number 2 on her jersey, Ryan? Very different.
I like it. It's got some personality.
It does.
And a whistle underneath is going to go against Chicago.
Stephanie Dolson had Sylvia Fowles, has her in a bear hug. Watch. She's going to have both arms around her, fighting, holding her arm, and then here, wrapping her up. And then when she gets called for the foul, she wants the 3 seconds instead. She's working, but that was a foul.
Collier spinning, dishing, fouls. Can't get it to go, and Parker has her 4th rebound. Minnesota is a +7 on the glass in this game. Chicago has shot at 54% from the floor. Nice setup. Parker lays it in off the delivery from Vandersloot. 10th assist of the night for Vandersloot. Her 2,000th of her career. Just the 4th player in WNBA history to hit that mark.
Nice little pick and roll, and then Candace Parker increased the degree of difficulty with the one-hand catch and finish on it.
Collier, the footwork and the finish. 27 for Collier, tying a career high.
Oh, that was a beautiful up and under. Come to the middle and then a big step past the defender.
Copper able to cradle it in. Collier, no. That's the one part of her game still trying to come along. The 3-ball, 1 for 3 tonight. She shot it so well last season at 40.8%. This year she's under 27. Little runner won't go for DeShields. Here's Carlton. And Fowles thought she had thrown it away when Dangerfield moved, but McBride was there to clean it up. Can't hit, though. Kayla McBride now 0 for 4. There you go on the finish. Copper in transition again, and a timeout taken by Minnesota. Courtney Vandersloot making some history. Assist number 2,000. Just the 4th player in league history. Well, a special WNBA All-Star format announced today. The AT&T WNBA All-Star 2021 will take place July 14th, 7 Eastern on ESPN in Las Vegas. We'll be there. USA National Team All-Stars will face the WNBA All-Stars who are not on the national team. The 96 U.S. Olympic women's basketball team will be honored. The All-Star voting combines fans, players, and media. AT&T WNBA All-Stars back. Head over to WNBA.com/vote or download the new WNBA app to vote daily until June 27th.
I knew you could start voting today because my 14-year-old told me that. She's all excited. I get to start voting today for the WNBA All-Stars.
That's a good sign, Rebecca.
Nafisa Collier was at the top of her list.
Banham, nice setup, and Dantas can't finish the layup. 15-point Chicago lead, led by as many as 17 in the first half. Minnesota shaved it down to 2. The Lynx only lead in this game 2-0. Collier has tied a career high with 27. Chicago a well-distributed effort. DeShields lays it in. 12 points now for DeShields, just 5 of 14 from the floor. Had gotten off to an efficient start. Struggled, but gets that one to go, and that's going to be an offensive foul against Collier.
Nafisa Collier working hard on the block, and ooh, Diamond DeShields had her wrapped up. If anything, that should have been a foul on DeShields. I think that should have been a no call.
Instead, it's the 3rd foul against Nafisa Collier. 3 on Sylvia Fowles. For Chicago, DeShields has 3. The only other player with more than 1 is Copper, who has 2. Here is Parker, playing her 4th game of the season. That 3 won't go for Stevens. Collier trying to veer around to Shields. Dantas, a good look from three, no. Vandersloot, oh, nice find in the corner. Stevens can't hit the triple. Chicago 8 for 19 from downtown in this game.
Rachel Banham has been on the floor for the last couple of minutes. She provided a really nice spark offensively in Minnesota's last game against LA.
Reach in there will go against Quigley. And Dantas, I believe, is going to shoot two here.
Damaris Dantas has struggled from the floor so far, only 1 for 6. And this is a player who had a monster year last year in the bubble. She was absolutely terrific, and she hasn't been able to find that consistency or the production so far this year. Minnesota's a different team when Dantas is playing like she did a year ago.
Parker gives it up to Shields, kicks it back. Quigley, a good look, and a three for Allie Quigley.
Really nice ball movement, and it started with Diamond to Shields, nice drive, kick out to Candace Parker, who makes the extra pass. Good looking offense, now good looking D.
15th turnover for Minnesota. Quigley, another look, you bet. On a three, and the lead is ballooned to 21.
Unselfish basketball, 2 possessions in a row. What a pass by Lexi Brown.
That is sort of in line with the struggles they've had to begin this season, Rebecca. Minnesota just 10th in the league in three-point shooting percentage this year after they were 3rd in the WNBA last year, really rode that to the semifinals.
Nafisa Collier has not been as good from the three-point line this season. She has been tonight. She's been terrific doing everything tonight. Damaris Dantas has her percentages are down. Bridget Carlton as well. It's been a team-wide issue.
Well, guys, Cheryl Reeve actually was very honest with her. She said starting training camp, this first time in her career here in Minnesota, that she was like, I don't know how good we are, and really starting to wonder if this team could be what they had hoped for. And now they've lost Ariel Powers, who will have to have surgery on her thumb. Natalie Achanwa, as you mentioned, is out there dwindling in numbers. But even more than that, I just don't feel like they have the point guard right now that they're making plays. Lasia Clarendon's been out for a long time. There's just not a flow to this offense right now, and that's got to be a real frustration for Cheryl Reeve. Lindsay Whalen is sitting in the crowd behind me. I could go ask her, could she just jump back down in here? But I think her playing days might be over.
And I think the biggest issue for Minnesota, at least so far in this game, has been on the defensive end of the floor. You know, Chicago right now has 78 points. Cheryl Reeve told us, nice pass there from Dangerfield into Sylvia Files. But Cheryl Reeve told us the keys in this game said we got to limit Chicago's touches in the paint. We have to limit them from three, and they haven't been able to do either of those things. And defense is one of the areas she thought her team had really, really improved since that 0-4 start.
And the turnovers obviously have been a springboard for Chicago's offense. 15 Minnesota turnovers in this game has led to 25 Chicago points. As that time, Chicago turns it over for an 8th time. Minnesota with Carlton, Collier, Fouls, Dangerfield, and Banham on the floor. Chicago, DeShields, Dolson, Quigley, Stevens, and Brown. Dangerfield can't hit the jumper. Rebound loose and snared by Chicago. Ooh, dangerous pass there from Brown, taken away. Brown, a former member of the Lynx. Dangerfield gets in the teeth of the paint. Couldn't finish. Collier fighting. And it's won by Chicago. And a whistle as Quigley and Banham got tied up.
We talked about it earlier, how much Allie Quigley moves and runs and comes off screen. She's got to be one of the more difficult guards in the league to defend when she doesn't have the basketball in her hands.
Dolson able to save it beautifully. Quigley, the leaner, is good. And another Minnesota turnover, their 16th of the game. Fouls called for a fourth personal. Cheryl Reeve, he's not a believer after seeing that replay. DeShield tops into a bucket. Lead right back to 21. Collier has to give it up. Shot clock fading. The 2-for-1 goes by the wayside. Carlton on the reverse. Nice persistent move from Bridget Carlton, her third field goal of the game.
Cheryl Reeve told us she finds a way, and it's really hard to take her off the floor. She's provided some really nice energy and effort here today.
Slight differential game and shot clock. Quigley can't flip it in, and that'll do it for the third quarter. Quigley up to 19 points on the night. 4 members of the Sky in double figures, and a 19-point Chicago lead.
They've gotten great production from the three-point line, including Allie Quigley. How you feeling? Pretty good.
I think just slowing down. I think the past couple games I've been too sped up, so I'm really just reading what the defense is giving me and taking my time.
You guys are struggling with turnovers right now. What has to change for you to get back in this ball game and take care of the ball?
We have to make smart decisions, slow down, take care of the ball. I mean, all their points are off of fast break points, so we have to take care of it if we want to have a chance of winning this game.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, without question, that's the % priority, is not to turn the basketball over. And then they have to figure out defensively some sort of an answer, because Chicago's shooting 57%, 48% from the three-point line.
Minnesota with Carlton, Collier fouls, Dangerfield and Banham off the turnover. Here comes Dangerfield speeding ahead. Carlton into the paint, turning, elevating, couldn't finish it. Loose ball, scramble for it, and it is going to be, Chicago ball and a timeout. Dolson is down. And it is going to be Sky basketball. Timeout awarded to Chicago. A reminder, our 25th anniversary game Sunday between the Liberty and the Sparks. You see the gorgeous face of my Hall of Fame partner Rebecca Lobo there on our scoreboard banner with Lisa Leslie, 2 who played in that original game. Now the officials conferring. Eric Bruton, Danica Mosher, Brandon Schwab are officials. I believe they're deciding whether or not this is a full or a 20-second timeout. Feels like it's turning into a full regardless. We're going to step aside. 32 seconds into the fourth quarter. Chicago a 19-point lead. Stephanie Dolson hits the jumper. The officials coming back a little soon from the timeout. Here comes Chicago with a 21-point lead. Dolson now up to 17 points after the bucket. Out there with Vandersloot, Quigley, Stevens, and DeShields. Vandersloot gives it up to her wife in the corner. Quigley knocks down the 3. 11 assists for Courtney Vandersloot, 22 for Quigley, and another timeout. This one called by Minnesota.
We staying? Rye? We staying?
I believe it's all up in the air now, Rebecca.
I liked what you said. The officials came back early. You're one of those, I'm not late, you're early kind of guys. So we're just going to stay.
And a technical foul has been called on Rachel Banham. Rebecca, as we see Chicago play the way they have tonight, what does it sort of make you think about the ceiling for this group this year when they're totally healthy?
It makes you feel like they're going to be digging themselves out of this hole pretty quickly. You know, they're in 11th place in the league right now with a 4-7 record, but we've documented the players who have missed time due to injury, or Stephanie Dolson with her USA basketball responsibilities. They are potent offensively, and you combine that with how solid they've been so far early in the season defensively. I mean, this is the team that everybody kind of expected to see from the jump.
Now, Rachel Banham, after the timeout, tossed the ball not to the referee. That's where the technical foul came from.
Really? You get a technical for that now?
Inaccurate post-timeout passes.
Or was like
Rule 724A, Section B13.
It looked like she said something before she dropped the ball. I mean, come on.
Might have been a combo effort.
I hope so. I hope it wasn't just for the ball drop.
Here's Carlton giving it up. Dantas a three. No. Boy, it is all tonight. They have just totally taken advantage of Minnesota's turnovers. Vandersloot can't hit. Weak side rebound, Banham. Coming on 8 minutes left in this fourth quarter. An 88-63 Chicago lead, and a whistle here.
Cheryl Reeve does not have Sylvia Fowles or Nafisa Collier on the floor. You wonder if she's just giving them a rest for the stretch, or she's just putting them on the bench to rest and get ready for the next game on Thursday.
Dangerfield lost it out of bounds, but a tough game for Dangerfield. The reigning Rookie of the Year, 2 for 7. And Minnesota has had a hard time operating their offense without turning it over.
Well, guys, you're wondering why those players are on the bench for Minnesota. And at that timeout, Cheryl Reeve just kind of yelled at everybody, get in the game. I think she's frustrated with the defensive effort of her starters, but also to rest them moving forward if they're not in this game. But there's 7 minutes left. I'm kind of surprised she's got them out so early, but I know that the defensive effort has not been to her liking.
And a 25-point hole for Minnesota. Chicago with 28 assists for their 36 made field goals. Parker goes baseline, just couldn't finish, but got a late whistle and is going to shoot 2. Dangerfield a little shaken up. And the officials talking. I'm gonna.
Rolling in the court is an offensive foul against number 3, Candace Parker. The previous play game.
The play is under review for a possible flagrant foul.
So Candace Parker was actually called for an offensive foul, and they are taking a look at whether or not this could be a flagrant. Remember, all that it needs to be a flagrant is contact deemed unnecessary. Flagrant 2 is unnecessary and excessive. I mean, I think that's just going to be a common foul.
Yeah, without question. She's just coming down. That's what your arm does when you jump and land. Yes, Crystal Dangerfield took the brunt of it, but there was nothing that was not a basketball play right here. You jump, when you come down, your arm does that. Your arm comes down too. I'll be
Rebecca
really
Lobo
surprised
here to explain us the laws of physics.
Well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything there that's reckless or any sort of wind-up. The sort of things that are looked at in this situation. Intent to injure, if there was injury, up high, those things matter. But it didn't look like anything from Candace Parker there would meet the criteria for it to be a flagrant foul.
Brian, were you still alive? Or like, do you remember VCRs and VHS tapes?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And sometimes it wouldn't work, and like you'd have people over, and that's what it looks like. You'd have like 3 men just around, like staring at it, trying to figure out how to make it work. That's how it looks like sometimes when the refs are all staring at the replay. How are we going to get
someone
this to
take
work?
it out and blow on it?
Yeah. Plug it back in.
After review, the foul has been upgraded to a flagrant 1 for unnecessary contact with the flail helmet.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't think there was a flail.
Surprised. Yes. So surprised. They call that contact unnecessary, and so it is indeed a flagrant 1. Dangerfield, you see, being held below her average tonight. She's done a really nice job coming off the bench for Minnesota this season, has performed much better in those games. And Cheryl even said to us, Rebecca, look, the expectations coming off the bubble season, how wonderfully she played in Bradenton and the Rookie of the Year, those were always going to be unreasonable and too high. Now she's been settling more into Minnesota can expect, and that's being a spark plug off the bench tonight, not included.
Her scoring numbers are down a little bit, but her efficiency is up. She's shooting better from the three-point line. Her turnovers are down. Her assists are up. So she is still, even though coming off the bench and minus tonight, she has done a really nice job for Minnesota in this role.
(90-65), Chicago in front. Here's Dangerfield, covered by Copper. Copper all over, great D from Copper. The follow will go from Carlton. Vandersloot, the touch from Parker, and the foul.
Candace Parker, that switch happened early with Banham on her, and she was posting, didn't get the basketball, didn't get frustrated, stepped out of the paint, and then reposted. And they were able to find her later on in the possession. Well done.
You know, Candace Parker, this just her 3rd game back from injury. Holly, such a key piece for her new team.
That's right. There was a lot of hype when she signed. I mean, the Bulls are tweeting about it. The Bears are tweeting about it. Everybody's so excited that Candace Parker's come home where she grew up. But she had a very nasty ankle injury. And when she was not able to play in that first game, she actually tweeted out the first home game, y'all, I'm trying to get back. This is a pretty nasty ankle injury. I know that might be too much information there, but I just want you to see what she's had to come back from. She's admitted she's not in the kind of cardio game shape she wants to be. So she's doing extra cardio on her own, away from practice, away from games. She has a high pride level, and she's like, I know I'm not where I need to be yet, but I'm going to work tirelessly till I get there. And this is my first time seeing her in person this year since the bubble, and I think Candace looks pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 of 9 from the floor. And Candace Parker, a 2-time MVP, the 16 Finals MVP, last year's Defender of the Year, 2-time gold medalist. Only she and Tamika Catchings in WNBA history have won a league MVP, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Rookie of the Year. And Candace doing all this while now becoming an outstanding broadcaster for TNT as well. And why not a rejection? Vandersloot will fire and hit. It is all Chi-Town. 94-67, timeout Minnesota. The Sky putting on a clinic.
This Parker, Courtney Vandersloot, and Ryan, on their 37 made buckets, 29 have been assisted. See their top 5 scorers in this game. Courtney Vandersloot also in double figures. It has been a remarkable, unselfish offensive performance from the Chicago Sky.
Shooting 58% as a team from the floor, 52% from 3. They've turned 17 Minnesota turnovers into 29 points. And the Chicago Sky, after a slow start, they are coming. You know, the interesting part as that 3 drops down about the WNBA, Rebecca, is since they've gone to this playoff format where the top 2 seeds get a bye to the best-of-5 semifinal, and everybody else has to play in at least one single elimination game, there's such a premium on success in the regular season, finishing with one of those top 2 seeds. But you know, regardless of seeding, if this Chicago team is healthy when they get to the playoffs, they are going to be a team that no one wants to face.
Yeah, you see Banham hit the 3. Well, you want to have consistent excellence, right? So you can get one of those top 2 and get the rest and not be in a single elimination game. But then you also want to be the team that's hot and on a roll, so that if you are in that single elimination game, whether you're the 8 seed or the 3 seed, you are going to be coming in with the right kind of momentum.
Dantas a little shaken up after that. We'll take a look at the upcoming WNBA national TV schedule. CBS Sportsnet Thursday doubleheader. Minnesota at Dallas. Vegas hosts the Liberty. Friday on CBS Sportsnet, Phoenix at LA. And Saturday on CBS at 2 Eastern, Chicago will entertain Connecticut. For more on these games, please go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app. How about looking around the league, Rebecca, as Eric Bruton is going to go back to the VCR.
Plays on review for a possible flagrant foul.
All right, go to check for a possible flagrant foul. This one might be as well. And so 2 free throws in the ball here for Minnesota. Now, Copper is shooting the free throws. And now, on the other end, Dantis is going to get the flagrant free throws. So, Copper was fouled on the shot, but then she was called for the subsequent flagrant, and so she got the 2 free throws for the shot. Dantis gets the free throws because of the flagrant, and it will be Minnesota basketball. It's a lot to work out.
Wow. That's when you want to be like, well, what if them fouling me caused me to flail?
Yeah.
Everybody clap your hands.
Ruthie Hebert lays it in. Hebert was relied on heavily while Parker and Dolson were out. The second-year player out of Oregon got off to a very nice start. You think about Chicago's front court, Rebecca. They have such incredible depth there. Stu Du Fall, not even with the team. She's at Eurobasket. And you think about how deep their rotation is in a game where she's not a part of it.
Yeah, and she would be a significant part of it if she was here.
That'll drop in for Burdick. Plus the foul. And a chance for 3 for Sierra Burdick.
Sierra Burdick joined the team today. In the fourth quarter, she gets an ISO on the left side of the floor. Everyone's looking at her. Tell her, go ahead. And so she does and gets the and one.
Now we see Dana Evans into the game for Chicago, Rebecca. And James Wade, we were talking to him before the game about what Chicago liked about acquiring Evans, feeling like they needed a backup point guard to Vandersloot, and the first thing he mentioned was that she was motivated. And he said she had a chip on her shoulder, partly because of me, referring to the fact that James Wade in the Sky passed over Evans with the 8th pick of the draft and instead chose young Shyla Heel out of Australia. Evans was then picked 13th by Dallas, and Chicago ended up trading Heel plus some draft assets in a deal to get Evans. Now that's an incredible amount of humility from the Sky to admit their mistake like that. Humor and self-deprecation from Wade. And Rebecca, it does feel like Evans is probably the better fit for this moment for Chicago.
Yeah, without question. She's the player who's older, more mature, more experienced, more ready for this moment. And, you know, Shyla Heel could be a very good point guard in the WNBA at some point, but right now she is young and needs some more experience. And Dana Evans has been a really, really nice fit so far.
I love seeing Courtney Dangerfield, Crystal Dangerfield, and Dana Evans on the floor at the same time, Rebecca, because when we called our first women's college game of the year. And the first game we had called on site since the start of the pandemic, it came at Mohegan Sun back in December. And we were talking with Dana Evans. It was a Louisville game against DePaul. And Dana Evans came up to us, and we were talking to her about the draft. And she said, you know, Crystal Dangerfield gave me confidence at that size to make me believe I can be an impactful point guard in the WNBA as well.
I think it also gave coaches and GMs in the WNBA confidence that a player that size can be impactful because of the great year Crystal Dangerfield had. But yeah, it was really interesting talking to Dana about that exact thing because she too is a small guard.
We'll step aside. 2:47 to go in the fourth. Chicago 101, Minnesota 79.
Well, Minnesota great Simone Augustus was a legend here. She helped build this dynasty, winning 4 WNBA championships. But then she went to LA as a free agent, and when she came back with LA this weekend, she got such a warm welcome. The Lynx fans loving her, really getting to pay tribute to her for the first time because of the bubble last year. And they announced that both she and Rebecca Brunson's jerseys will be retired in a ceremony next season. That's going to be really cool when we get full fans in here and they get to really honor all that Rebecca Brunson and Simone Augustus brought to this program, because they were a dynasty. You see all the banners hanging up there. Lindsay Whalen is already retired, and I can't wait to see Simone and Rebecca's right next to hers.
We watched those teams up close, Holly. It was amazing. The unselfish, committed two-way basketball that team played during its dynastic years, and the pieces just fit so beautifully. Simone Augustus, 4-time champ, finals MVP in 2011, an 8-time All-Star. Rebecca Brunson, a 5-time champ in this league, winning 1 with Sacramento and then the 4 with Minnesota. One of this league's all-time best rebounders and defenders. Rebecca, that was a team that just all the pieces worked perfectly in rhythm together.
Yeah, absolutely joy to watch. And Simone Augustus, one of the nastiest crossovers in the history of the WNBA. She could leave people in their tracks. So much fun to watch play. And then Brunson defensively, forget it. One of the best post defenders we've ever seen as well.
Under 2 minutes to go. Big breakout performance for Chicago. Nice look inside. Evans finding Hebert.
Those two in their brief period of time together, Evans only here for 5 games, have really had a nice connection in the pick and roll. We've seen that multiple times throughout their minutes together.
Speaking of nice connection, in the pick and roll, Burdick on day 1 showing some chemistry.
Yeah.
Foul against Clarendon. You know, interesting with Minnesota, Rebecca, looking at their outlook for the season. Cheryl Reeve conceded to us, look, this team is never going to look like what we had initially envisioned. And Renaya Davis's injury ensured that. But with a Chanwa and Powers now as well, no clear path to when they'll be back on the floor. But the Lynx still a team with talent and some high expectations this season.
They just have to figure out their chemistry. And, they've got pieces coming in, pieces out. When Jessica Shepard comes back, and out of the list of players you see there, Renaya Davis is not going to return this season. Cheryl Reeve said Jessica Shepard will be the first out of those who will be able to play. Well, then that's when Lasia Clarendon is the replacement player for Shepard, so they're going to have to figure that situation out as well. It's going to be interesting to watch them try to put it together and get their chemistry going.
Oh, how about the bank still being open this late in the evening? Little breakdown. Copper can't squeeze it in. Final 50 seconds of this one. It's all cosmetic at this point. Clarendon hits the jumper. They now have 6 points. James Wade, the former assistant of Cheryl Reeve, about to get his first ever win as a head coach against the Minnesota Lynx. McBride got slammed and is going to extend the game a bit and shoot 3 free throws here. Hey, want to remind you, this is a historic game Sunday for the WNBA. Almost 25 years ago to the day, the league played their first game as part of a triple-header. Rebecca Lobo and the Liberty defeated Lisa Leslie and the Sparks at the Great Western Forum. And here we are with the same matchup Sunday, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on ESPN and the app. This time it's Sabrina Ionescu leading the Liberty against Christy Tolliver and the Sparks.
Think about all the players who are in the WNBA now who, when they were born, there was a professional league in this country for them to play in. It's been so fun, Rye, for us to watch the growth of this league and the growth of the play on the floor.
Well, the Chicago Sky offense certainly broke out tonight. Cheryl Reeve, James Wade, the former colleagues give each other a big hug. And that will do it. An impressive, authoritative victory from the Chicago Sky. 105-89 the final. James Wade with his first career victory as a head coach against his former team. And if this is just a portent of things to come for the Sky offense, the rest of the WNBA has another team to be concerned about when it comes to contenders. "16 points from DeShields, 17 from Dolson. Parker, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Courtney Vandersloot, 10 points, 13 assists. And Allie Quigley with 23 off the bench. She is with Holly.
Well, Allie Quigley, this team is really starting to come together right now after a rocky start to the beginning of the season. What feels different right now for your group?
Feels different that we have all of our players and no one's injured, knock on wood. So it just feels good to have everybody healthy, and we're just going to take it one game at a time now.
For you, you had to come back. I see that heavy wrap on your hamstring. How have you fought through that and really looked terrific tonight with over 20 points?
I just had to be patient. I knew there was days that I felt really good and, I could play, but I was just like, I got to be patient. It's one of those injuries that, everyone says if you don't let it heal, it's just going to keep coming back. So I was just trying to be positive on the bench and be patient.
Speaking of patient, you guys finally get Candace Parker back. She's such a big piece in free agency. How are you all learning how to play with her? Because she's kind of a dominant figure out there, but I see it starting to gel a little bit better.
Definitely. We're embracing that. We needed that. We need that extra voice on the court, that leader, championship experience. So we're just embracing her. We're still learning each other. She's learning us. We're learning her, but we're just excited to have her here.
Very few people ever come into this building and score over 100 against the Minnesota Lynx. How important is that for the psyche of your group?
It's been huge, especially for us this year. We've kind of struggled offensively, so just to be able to score for 40 minutes and not just one quarter here, one quarter there, it's just going to give us such good vibes going forward.
All right. Well, there was a good vibe for you guys tonight. Thank you so much, Allie Quigley.
Thank you so much.
Well, Allie Quigley and the Chicago Sky with an incredibly impressive performance as they take down the 4-time champion Minnesota Lynx. A reminder, on Sunday, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on ESPN and the app, we'll have the Liberty against the Sparks as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of this wonderful league. For our producer, Lori Privatera, our director, Chuck Ciccarello, Holly Rowe, and the Hall of Famer, Rebecca Lobo, I'm Ryan Rucco saying so long, everybody. Coming up next, It's NFL Live. Chicago wins big in Minnesota.